Hi guys, this is Sandy Reinhardt, and this is my Google Plus video on grading in zeros. I just finished watching Dr. Wormley's videos, and I'd actually seen one of them before, but I think they're both extremely powerful. The first question is, do our students know and understand the concepts and standards that we are teaching them? And just talking particularly for my building and for my district, we are a PLC district. We do take our big ELOs, our big essential learning outcomes, through the data process. We pre-assess students on the essential learning outcomes. We do mid-assessment, post-assessment. With that post-assessment data, for our students that are not quite at mastery, and for our building, mastery is 80%, we do then take them through the RTI process. We reteach through RTI and then post-assess again. My big takeaways from the video, I actually had several that I took notes on and at some point want to share with my staff. But a couple of my big takeaways is when Dr. Wormley said the 0% scale is what the community will tolerate. I thought that was very interesting because I actually came from a district that had a no zero policy. Their policy was they had to get at least a 50%. Even if they never turned in an assignment, they still received 50% on the assignment. And a lot of people disagreed with that. So I thought that quote was very interesting because I'd kind of been in a situation similar. I also thought when he said, what if we treated A's with the same weight that we treat F's? And we gave A's a 60% spread on the scale. 40 to 100% was an A. And that was kind of an aha moment because that's what we do with F's. And the fact that he said that, an F is 6 levels below failing. And I mean, when you hear it explained that way, it's really hard to disagree with what he's saying. So I guess in a sense, I mean, what I'm saying is I definitely agree with the way F's are treated in the public school system. We are not a building that does standards based, but we have talked about it. I love the concept. One of the things that Dr. Worley said was that we have to report. Our report should look like what we're doing in the classroom, and I totally agree with that. And I love the idea of doing some kind of ELO checklist for our parents. We have a 3-year PD plan that we're beginning. We actually started last year to implement accessible, capable learners here in our building, and we're not going to officially be called standards based, but our students will be collecting their own data, keeping data binders on the different ELOs, and then they will be presenting that information in student-led conferences. Our goal is to have that 100% in place by the end of the next school year, by the end of 18-19. This year our focus is on data binders. Finally, what is my district doing to make sure students know and understand the standards? Here at Central Middle School, we're actually an ICU school. ICU stands for Intensive Care Unit, and it comes from the book from Danny Hill called The Power of ICU. And what that is that we have before school, after school, and during the school day, we have an ICU program. And any student that is struggling with a standard, any student that did not take an assessment and pass it with at least a 70%, then what those students do, they get assigned to ICU, and it is a database. Teachers go in, it's very easy to use. They put in the information. The parents actually get a text message that says, hey, your child has been assigned to ICU. Then it tells them exactly why. And then they have a working lunch during the day, and they are in the ICU with 3 teachers. One's a math teacher, one's an ELA teacher, and one's a science social studies teacher. And they are worked with one-on-one to reteach the standard, to reteach whatever the ELO is that they're struggling with. We also offer it an hour before school and an hour after school. So throughout the day, we have 2 hours and 40 minutes of ICU time built in, and that is one-on-one reteaching. We don't call it tutoring, we call it reteaching. And our purpose is we want to know that the student knows the standard. So if we give a test and they get a 60% on it, we're going to reteach that standard, and then we're going to reassess them. It doesn't come back to, oh, they have to get a certain grade to move on. It comes, for us, it's did they know it? What is our evidence? How do we know that they knew that standard? So that's kind of the direction that we take on grading. I'd be interested in hearing what everybody else is doing in their district and how they handle Fs and things like that. And I hope everybody's having a good week. Thanks.